Hey crocheters! So today I want to talk about how I got introduced to amigurumi and kind of the backstory, the origin story there. I've talked about how I got introduced to crocheting through my mom and some of my early projects, but I want to talk about when amigurumi entered my life, because before that, yes, I had done crocheting, but it really wasn't a major part of my life. It was something I did every once in a while. But, like watercolors could have won, or, cartooning, or, lots of other things could have been what I ended up wanting to do as a side hustle hobby thing. There was no writing on the wall, you want to do crocheting for the rest of your life. That happened much more recently. So I want to talk about that. But first things first, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. So in my vlog yesterday, I talked a little bit about the difference. Well, not the difference. I talked about being a maker or being a designer. And it was brought to my attention that the way that I phrased that made it sound like being a designer was more important, more special than being a maker. And that was not my intention. And so I wanted to come out and I wanted to say I'm sorry if I did offend anyone. It was not at all my intention. I think what it is that I get so excited about designing that I tend to talk more about that and to be more excited about that just as a person. But it's been really insightful for me to be reading through the YouTube comments and, learn that some people feel really design oriented when it comes to blankets, or Donna said she likes to design Grafgans. That's incredible. Or then hearing from Elise, who has done some pattern designing but really loves crocheting along to someone else's pattern because it is more relaxing and soothing. So it's to each their own. I think both are really incredible. And for both we get that joy out of creating something with our hands. So I just wanted to clear that up, let you know. I love everyone, love all things. Sorry if that was, hard yesterday or came across in a negative light. So on to today. How did I get introduced to amigurumi? So the very first, So first of all, we had to move to Missouri. I don't know why. There's amigurumi in Idaho too, I'm sure. But it's just how it worked. We moved to Missouri in 2016, and I was expecting, and it was scary, and there were lots and lots of emotions. But thankfully there was a couple who just reached out and were like, hey, we'll be your friends. And they invited us over for dinner. Thank goodness for those people. And during, eating our lasagna and chatting, they, the husband kind of was like, hey, wife, show them the things you've been making. I don't know. I love it when a husband wants to brag on his wife a little bit. It's just fun. And so she brought out some of her crocheting, and also some knitting. She's quite talented. And she she had this beautiful shawl, and trying to remember what else. I think a blanket. And then she had these little tiny amigurumi pigs. They were ones, I think you can find them on Pinterest, but they're just a pink ball, and they've got little teeny legs and a little teeny snout and little teeny ears, and they're just so cute. And something happened when she handed it to me, because I'd seen amigurumi on Pinterest. I even had some saved to a DIY board. Someday I'll make this. But it always felt so unattainable. When you look at something, you're like, that's awesome, but way too hard. I would never do that. I don't believe I have the skill. I don't think I can. And just being able to hold it And also being able to see, you know, like there was some gapping, a little bit of gapping in kind of the decreasing rows on her pig. And like something about seeing its imperfections, and yet like knowing how cute it still was. Like I was astounded by how cute it was. You know, even with those minor imperfections, it was like, this is attainable. Like if I'm holding it, and she made that. Like I'm seeing her, she made this. And so it took it from being like, there's absolutely no way I can ever do this, to I think I can. I think for the first time in my life, I can do this. And so I got really excited about it. And so, and when I just brought up the flaws there, I think that's an important thing. Like, I don't want it to sound like I'm nitpicking her work, but the flaws made it better for me, because, you know, because something was still so cute, where there were like obvious, you know, like it wasn't perfect. It wasn't a perfect round circle. There were, you know, a little bit of, there were a couple of little issues, but I don't know, but that made it more attainable, knowing that it's like, it's so cute, even though there are little, you know, issues. Like, and so I guess the mild takeaway, lesson learned there is like, if you do have flaws in your work, and this is something I should remember, like it's still okay to show people, because that it might actually make it better for them, because then they feel like they could, you know, do something like that too. Anyway, I'm way too like moral of the story today. Anyway, back on track. So, yeah, so when I decided I wanted to try amigurumi, because I tend to, you know, I was saying yesterday, I just didn't like following patterns, and I never have. And actually I wore a skirt to show you guys. I explained that I would like lay a pair of pants on a piece of fabric and just like cut it out. Well, I have one of those skirts left from, I think I made this when I was like 19. So I'll see if I can show it to you. Okay, not quite. A little further down. Yeah. So like no zippers, no drawstrings. It's just like a shimmy it up. You have to kind of do a pants dance to get it on. Yeah. And the material is, the top lace is one of my grandma's old dresses that was probably going to be thrown out because it didn't fit anyone. And then actually the white underneath is just like swimsuit material. So it stretches, so it kind of makes it easier to get on. So yeah, so like I said, I have never really liked following patterns. I just rather freehand it, you know, rather just, you know, figure it out myself, you know. So someone's already figured it out and made it into a pattern, but I'd rather figure it out myself. I don't know, stubborn maybe? Possibly. So knowing this about myself, I decided, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try amigurumi, but I'm not going to buy any materials, because I don't want to buy all of the materials for it and then never make it, or get started, realize I hate following patterns, and stop. So I just decided I'm going to use what I have. So I had some like peaches and cream yarn from my mother-in-law. I think the intent was to make some dishcloths out of it. And so I had that, and I had some hooks she'd gotten me, and I decided I was going to stuff it with plastic garbage bags. And so I found a free kitten pattern on someone's blog on Pinterest. And it was a cute kitten. It really was. And so I just got started. And it was the yarn was white, green, purple, and blue variegated. And it worked up to not be very cute. And that combined with the fact that like my craftsmanship skills were really bad, and on the back legs, I was like, oh yeah, I've got the hang of this. I'm going great. I just stopped counting rows. So like the back legs were ridiculously long compared to everything else. Yeah. Oh, and then to top it off, once I got the whole thing assembled, I didn't want to spend money on safety eyes because I wasn't buying anything for this, right? So I was like, I'll just draw the eyes on with Sharpie. And that bled like crazy. It was, the long story short of this is I can't show this horrific little, creature to you guys because I threw it away like 2 months after I made it. It was so bad. Like we kept it around for a little bit and then it was like kind of terrifying to have on a shelf looking at you. So we just chucked that and didn't look back. If I'd known that I was, going to enjoy doing amigurumi so much that I would, try and build it into something bigger than just, an occasional toy for a niece or nephew, I probably would have held on to it, but I did not know that. And it really was so ugly. It was so ugly. But there was, it did teach me a couple of really important things. Number one, if you're going to follow a pattern, follow the pattern, because otherwise things get really bad really fast. And then the second thing that was really an important takeaway for me was that I could follow a pattern. I had the patience. For that very first one, I Googled like a million things, typed into YouTube, invisible decrease, magic ring, just learning. It was a very deep learning process for me. And so like that second takeaway was really important because I needed to know that I could follow a pattern, that I could make myself sit down and, read, how it goes together and to not get frustrated and quit. And so when, I think it was November, but in my family, we draw names for Christmas. So I got my sister who had she had one daughter and one on the way. And so I made one, The Little Sheep by Christy Tullis. Still love the pattern. And I made the other one, a baby elephant from Theresas Crochet Shop. And I'll link those patterns below this video. Super cute. It was really fun. And that's how I got started. And that's the story of my very first amigurumi and also how I got introduced to amigurumi. So I hope that's been interesting for you guys today. Let's see, today's Friday, so tomorrow's Saturday. So I'll do a normal vlog tomorrow. I might not edit it. I might still just do the one shot to the camera. But I've got some things to talk about there, which is really exciting. So yeah, that is it for me today. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, and thank you so much for being here, and take care.